Bill Maher is once again getting torched on his very own show live on Real Time with Bill Maher. As you can see, this tweet here from Eric Abinante, it says, he was questioning you about the idea that you're supporting Trump, who was found guilty of SA by a jury, and you're a great victim yourself. Nancy Mace, Donald Trump wasn't convinced of SA. The $83 million was a defamation suit. It was about defamation. The vast majority of it was for defamation, not grape, not SA. Hearing the truth incited literal hissing from the liberal Bill Maher crowd. Let's check this out here, man. Once again, Bill Maher just getting embarrassed on his very own show. This has been happening a lot recently, whether that's Real Time with Bill Maher or his, the Bill Maher podcast. He's been getting destroyed on his very own show, bringing on people who are a lot smarter than him to just destroy all of his woke talking points, because these people on Bill Maher's side don't come with facts and logic. They come with emotion. And if you actually come with any facts or logic, you'll absolutely destroy anyone like Bill Maher. Let's check out this clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher.
Can I ask you about that? Because I asked before, would you mind talking about it? Because you were much in the news last week about this issue, because you were on George Stephanopoulos' show. And he was questioning about the idea that you're supporting Trump, who was found guilty of sexual assault by a jury in New York for the E. Jean Carroll case. And you were a rape victim yourself. And I guess his implication was that being so, that you should not support someone who is convicted of this crime.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Well, number one, to set the stage a little bit, I went on to talk about 2024, when the general election, it's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. I had my 14-year-old kid with me, my daughter with me that day. It was work. I was there for work. She had no choice. She had to come with me. It was a really uncomfortable conversation afterwards with her on the way to the airport over this. And she knows my story. But number one, Donald Trump wasn't convicted of sexual assault. The $83 million was a defamation suit. It was about defamation. There was a sexual abuse claim, and she got a little bit for that. But the vast majority of it was for defamation, not rape, not sexual assault. So I think there are two types.
Is that right,
that is right.
So number one, he got destroyed on the facts about the whole thing, because he tried to say that Donald Trump was convicted of, SA, something like that. And Nancy Mace just comes back and says, no, he actually wasn't. It was a defamation lawsuit. Number two, it's, to me, and you can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on this, it rubs me the wrong way, the way Bill Maher brought up the fact that Nancy Mace is a great victim, is a victim of those, horrible things, in order to prove a point that is anti-Donald Trump. It's kind of sick to me that people like Bill Maher in the woke side of things, they'll do anything. Like, nothing is off limits to prove that Donald Trump, to prove that orange man bad. Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, they'll literally do anything. Even, like, you can see Nancy Mace's face whenever he brought that up. She's very uncomfortable, dude. Like, let's watch this back really quick. She's very, very uncomfortable.
Supporting Trump, who was found guilty of sexual assault by a jury in New York for the E. Jean Carroll case.
She's already uncomfortable here. And then he takes it a step further and actually calls out the fact that she was a victim.
And you were a rape victim yourself. And I guess his implication was,
you can tell she's so uncomfortable, man.
That being so, that you should not support someone who is convicted of this crime.
Well,
and then he's also just straight up lying about the fact that he was convicted of that crime. Like, not only is he playing dirty by bringing up the fact that Nancy Mace was a victim of horrible crimes, but also trying to lie and say that Donald Trump was convicted of those crimes. I don't believe he was. And let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But that's what Nancy Mace is also saying, and you can hear the crowd's reaction. Not good.
Majority of it was for defamation, not rape, not sexual assault. So I think there are two types.
Is that right, Ron?
That is right.
It's kind of hard to hear, but the crowd is, like this person said, there's literal hissing coming from the liberal Bill Maher crowd. You can hear that they're not too happy. So, but then on the other hand, the things, we have clips like this from Bill Maher. It's like the guy goes back and forth. Sometimes it seems like he's on the road to red pill. Sometimes it seems like he's absolutely lost. I think it's kind of a mix of both. I think probably Bill Maher is kind of on the road to red pill, but his whole audience, like, he's built this cult-like fan base around the woke cult that he can't go away from. If he does, he will lose his livelihood. He'll lose all his fans. He'll lose all his money. So he has to stay within. But then sometimes he brings on people like Eric Holder and straight up questions them about voter suppression, proof of voter suppression for black voters back in 2020. He says, I do remember Biden saying that Georgia, the situation there was Jim Crow 2.0. Then after that election, the polling came out and even African Americans said they had no problem voting. How do you reconcile that? Spoiler alert, Holder did not reconcile. So let's check out this clip of Bill Maher actually questioning one of the woke talking points, one of the woke cult favorite things to talk about. Let's check out this Bill Maher clip here from Real Time with Bill Maher.
But I do remember Biden saying that Georgia, the situation there was Jim Crow 2.0.
Yeah.
And then after that election, the polling came out, and even African Americans said they had no problem voting. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah, but if you look at voter participation rates before Shelby County and after Shelby County, you will see that there's always been a gap. But whites vote at a greater rate than blacks do. But that ratio has really increased fairly substantially since the Shelby County case. And it is a fundamental gap now between black voter participation and white voter participation. You know, the reality is that black folks do everything that we have to do, stand in line for 3 or 4 hours in order to vote. But why should that be the case? Why should I have to take it? All right, in 2020 in Atlanta, on the night of the 2020 election after 5 o'clock, if you were in a white part of Atlanta, it took you 6 minutes to vote. If you were in a black part of Atlanta, it took you 52 minutes to vote. Now, why is that? Why should it be that way? This is supposed to be a participatory democracy where everybody has equal access to the polls. Nobody can say that that is the case right now. Nobody can.
Well, that's why we're glad you're after it.
No, we're not. We are not glad. So he's like, at first, Bill Maher questions the guy, and then at the end, he's like, "Yeah, I absolutely love this guy's answer. Like, I'm fully back into the will call." It's like, come on, man. Like, you really buy this guy's nonsense? You could basically spin that into being like a racist talking point. You know, like if somebody wanted to be really racist, they could be like, you know, it takes 52 minutes for you get the joke. I don't need to make the joke, right? You get the joke. It takes the 52 minutes for the black people to vote, and only 6 minutes for the white people to vote. You know, you can make the jokes. They kind of write themselves whenever people like Eric Holder start to talk. So you can spin that even to like a racist talking point if you wanted to, because of how just stupid and nonsensical it is. Like, I'm sure you could find a voter booth somewhere out there that's predominantly white that takes longer than 52 minutes for the average person to vote. You know, I'm sure you could find that. You could find data to back basically anything. And then you have clips like this from Jack Posobiec of Bill Maher just going completely woke and saying, here's Bill Maher spending 6 minutes telling Americans to shut up and everything is fine under Biden. It kind of gives me, you know, the vibes of, you know, the WEF saying you will own nothing and be happy. Let's check out a couple of minutes from this clip here. Just Bill Maher going nuts on Real Time with Bill Maher.
And finally, new rule, being obsessed with your mental health is bad for your mental health. I've been thinking a lot lately about a puzzle many are struggling with. Why are Biden's approval ratings so low when things are generally pretty good? Now, of course, there are problems. America's a big place, but wages are rising. Unemployment is negligible. The stock market is soaring. We somehow brushed off both the Trump presidency and a pandemic. Yes, inflation persists for a lot of things, but, you know, an actual good, nice-sized TV now costs $60. Who gets credit for that? We've got next day shipping, stuffed crust pizza, legal weed, GPS, and porn on the phone. Cheer the fuck up.
Look, I kind of agree with the sentiment of Bill Maher saying, like, all these people who are so sad, they're so depressed about life, like they're going through life, they're just so sad, the woe is me, victim mentality. People, like, life is good in first world Western countries. You know, you should probably just cheer up a little bit and realize how good you have it. But to try to attribute that to Joe Biden, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, it's definitely, if anybody is to blame or to credit for how, you know, good Western society, civilization, whatever you want to call it, has become, it's not Joe Biden. I can promise you that right now. It's anybody but Joe Biden. If anybody has contributed to the demise of Western society, then it's been Joe Biden, probably more than anyone. It's a big statement to make. But, you know, Joe Biden has definitely done a lot of bad, a lot of harm when it comes to not just America, but also look at all the wars that are happening. You know, that didn't happen under Donald Trump. I'm just saying, correlation doesn't always equal causation, but it didn't happen under Trump. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this round of Bill Maher making himself look really, really stupid, not just to Eric Holder here, but also in front of Nancy Mace, questioning Nancy Mace, just making himself look like a real a-hole about the whole thing. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about these Bill Maher clips from Real Time with Bill Maher. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.